But in the winter of 1977, as if by magic, the sound of Spartan victory began to emerge from the old hall that had almost been forgotten. Winning basketball was back in Jennison Fieldhouse. The Spartans, led by 27-year coaching veteran Judd Heathcote, assistant coaches Don Munson and former MSU letterman Bill Berry, had achieved the recruiting coup of the decade. Local high school stars Irvin Johnson and Jay Vincent had both decided to attend MSU to complement veterans Bob Chapman, Gregory Kelser, and Terry Donnelly. In their first 6 games, the Spartans lost only to nationally ranked Syracuse and then began a 13-game winning streak that placed them in the polls as one of the top 10 teams in the country. The big push began the week before Christmas, with Gregory Kelser scoring a career-high 36 points and leading the Spartans in a romp over the nationally ranked Detroit Titans. The Spartans then returned from winning the Old Dominion Classic for the season's first taste of Big Ten play. Facing the Minnesota Golden Gophers at home, the freshman turned it on. Johnson passes to Vincent, who lays it up for 2 of his 22 points for the night. The Spartans played a tough defensive game that allowed senior Bob Chapman to turn Gopher mistakes into Spartan points with his outstanding outside shooting. Chapman, 44, the senior from Saginaw, Michigan, finished the season holding a solid 4th place in the history of basketball scoring at Michigan State. Chapman was also credited by many as being the steadying influence needed by the youthful Spartans. Irvin Johnson, 33, drives for 2 of his 31 points against the Gophers. And as usual, the speed and quickness of 32, Gregory Kelser aided in the first Spartan Big Ten win of the season. The Minnesota defeat upped the Spartan season record to 9-1 and 1-0 in the Big Ten. Judd Heathcote was on his way to being named Big Ten Coach of the Year. The next 3 Spartan opponents, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Northwestern, fell to defeat. The Associated Press poll showed Michigan State ranked 10th in the nation 2 days before the Purdue matchup in East Lansing. January 17th, the Spartans facing Purdue. As usual, Jennison packed with fans who saw number 33, Irvin Johnson, hit on shots like this one to be the highest scorer for the night with 21 big ones. The Boilermakers of Purdue, one of the toughest defensive matchups of the season. 11, Terry Donnelly gets his licks and hits one from the outside. .32, Gregory Kelser brought the crowd to its feet with amazing dunks like this one. Donnelly feeds number 31, Jay Vincent, who scores to help prove the surprising Spartans victorious. Judd Heathcote and the team saw the final. MSU 60, Purdue 51. January 21st, 78. The 15th game of the season, and the Spartans hosting the Iowa Hawkeyes. The Hawks came prepared with a stubborn zone defense to test the outside shooting of Bob Chapman, who would not be denied as he popped for 13 points with dead-eye accuracy. Donnelly fires for 2. And from the bench, new talent in Windsor, Ontario freshman Mike Berkovich, number 12, scored 3 long jumpers in a row. And 15, Ron Charles, who takes a Terry Donnelly feed and converts for 2. 2 of his 8 reserve points for the night. 6'8" freshman center Jay Vincent takes a pass from his lifelong pal Irvin Johnson and takes it home for 2 to assist in the 14th Spartan win of the season and the incredible 60.9 second-half Spartan shooting percentage. Four of the 5 starters ended in double figures in this 10-point win over Iowa. The Spartan enthusiasm was catching on and being noticed nationwide. The January 24th AP poll moved the Spartans to a solid 7th place. After winning in Columbus, Ohio, and having their 13-game winning streak snapped by the Indiana Hoosiers, the Spartans came off that long, snow-delayed road trip and found themselves in a hard-fought nip-and-tuck battle with the University of Michigan, with patented Irvin Johnson passing, the Donnelly feeds, and the incredible inside moves of Gregory Kelser. The as-usual capacity crowd in Jenison got their money's worth. It proved to be a tense, evenly fought matchup with MSU in the lead at the half, 38-37. Kelser scores again. Donnelly drives for 2. Vincent scores. Ron Charles, 15, the 6'7" forward from the Virgin Islands, scores on still another feed from Irvin Johnson. Down to the wire, everyone braced for overtime play when at the buzzer, Michigan reserve Mark Lozier put away a desperation shot to make it 65-63 in favor of Michigan. It was to be the season's only home loss for the Spartans. On February 4th, the Spartans repaid the Indiana Hoosiers, beating them soundly by a score of 68-59. 6'7" junior Gregory Kelser got a start on his 21 points for the evening with a slam dunk over the heads of the startled Hoosiers. And the hometown 6'8" freshman Irvin Johnson was not about to be intimidated by the Hoosier big men, driving in for 2 of his 15 for the evening. With starting freshman Jay Vincent out with the flu, Sten Feldreich, a 7-footer from Sweden, Mike Berkovich, and Ron Charles, Coach Heathcote's Foreign Legion, had the occasion to shine, garnering 21 points and 10 rebounds between them for the evening. The Spartans were back in a winning groove. And back on the road to squeak by Iowa and then upset Johnny Orr and his U of M Wolverines in their own backyard, beating them 73-62. The first Spartan win in 7 outings against the Wolverines. Going into home play with Ohio State, the Spartans were 18-4 for the season, 8th in the polls and battling for first place in the Big Ten. The sellout crowd topped any previous season attendance marks in history. Irvin Johnson gave them what they came to see. 33, the Magic Man, scored a personal career high of 32 points for the evening. Johnson, Basketball Weekly's Rookie of the Year and their second-team All-American pick, shot 11 of 20 from the floor, 10 of 10 from the line. Johnson also finished the season with 222 assists, the all-time MSU record. Johnson scores! Bob Chapman adds 2 to assist the Spartans in tying the MSU record for most victories in a season. And Gregory Kelser, the Detroit native, disappointed no one, scoring 17 points and grabbing 16 rebounds. It ended MSU 79, Ohio State 74. Magic had become the Spartan byword, and Spartan Magic was no mere East Lansing illusion. After knocking off Northwestern by 10, the Spartans blew away the Illini in back-to-back games in Jennison Fieldhouse. The momentum to the Big Ten crown was at a fevered pitch behind the great scoring efforts of 32 Gregory Kelser. At the end of this, his junior season, Kelser only 366 points away from the all-time MSU scoring record with 531 points for the season and 1,412 MSU career points. This night, Gregory Kelser was high scorer, slam dunking his way to 32 points for the evening. With 4 minutes left in the game, the PA announcement that the Gophers of Minnesota had been defeated at the hands of Indiana gave the Spartans a word they were the undisputed first-place Big Ten team. The Spartans celebrated the news with a score, MSU 89, Illinois 67. The Spartan spirits led shouts of "We're number one" that echoed throughout Jennison Fieldhouse. The Spartans hit the road for the final 2 games of the season to beat Wisconsin and Minnesota and clinch undisputed first place in the Big Ten. Coach Heathcote and his surprising Spartans finished the regular season with 23 wins, 4 losses, a ranking of 6th in the nation, and the right to face Providence in the NCAA Mid-East Regionals March 11, 1978. Providence, historically proven a basketball powerhouse, fell prey to the Spartan attack by a score of 77-63. Providence coach Dave Gavitt, whose Friars had faced 10 of the 32 teams to make the regional tourneys, hailed the Spartans as the best team he'd encountered all season. The Spartans' quick start, sparked by the play of Gregory Kelser and Irvin Johnson, had the score at 25-8, with 11 minutes left in the first half. The Spartans shot 63.5% from the floor and held Providence to only a 39% shooting average. Spartan scoring led by Greg Kelser with a 90% shooting average from the floor. Irvin Johnson added 14 in aiding the Spartan cause. Bob Chapman tied the Magic Man in scoring and sparked everyone's performance with 3 straight 18-foot jumpers. Terry Donnelly threw in 12, and Jay Vincent and Ron Charles shared the center spot, scoring 6 apiece. The win in Indy slated the Spartans to meet the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky, the Cinderella team of the regionals, whose record at one time in the season had been 3-8, but had come back to be a contender in the race to be one of the NCAA Final Four. In a Thursday night contest at the University of Dayton Arena, Greg Kelser and Bob Chapman scored 23 points apiece to help the Spartans shatter the Hilltoppers' tourney bid. The Spartans, who had a 10-point halftime lead, were never behind. Greg Kelser's 3 straight baskets in the starting moments of the second half increased the lead to 14 points. Later, 3 baskets by Ron Charles helped to increase the lead to 16. All this with Irvin Johnson scoring 13 and directing the incredible Spartan fast break offense. To whip the Hilltoppers, MSU 90, Western Kentucky 69. Saturday, March 18th, University of Dayton Arena, Mid-East Regionals, the finals. And the Spartans matched against the #1 rated team in the nation, the Southeastern Conference champion, Kentucky Wildcats. The big question, how would the young MSU club fare against the seasoned veterans of one of the historic basketball powerhouses? The Spartans answered the challenge, and it was a match of strength, speed, spirit, and in the final analysis, faith. The Spartans came out fighting, attacking offensively and setting up a zone defense that Coach Joe B. Hall called tremendous. Coach Hall later said the MSU defense covered more territory than anyone he'd ever seen. The Wildcats were unable to get the ball inside to score. That, coupled with MSU's 58% shooting, left the halftime score at 27-22 in favor of the Spartans. The unbelievable was happening. But fate and Kentucky free throws found the final score 52-49 in favor of the Wildcats. Kentucky, the team that went on to win the NCAA championship, was held to its lowest scoring game of the season. The youthful Spartans, under the seasoned tutelage of Judd Heathcote, had proven to Kentucky and the nation that they are a team to be reckoned with in the future. Disappointment for the Spartans and Big Ten Coach of the Year, Judd Heathcote, could only be momentary after savoring the reflections of their super season. After all, they are only the third Spartan basketball team in history to see action in NCAA tourney play. And Chapman, Kelser, Donnelly, Johnson, Vincent, and company scored more points, made more field goals and free throws than any previous Spartan team. And their 15 Big Ten wins are unsurpassed in MSU history. But despite all the personal, team, and school honors, the Spartans are not content to rest on their laurels. They're looking forward to next year.